The Drop with Frank and Brian is officially brought to you by Switch Suspension. Switch Suspension specializes in all vehicle chassis components. Lift kits, lowering kits, air ride suspension, wheels, tires, steering, and brake upgrades. They use all the best products from the best brands. And these guys are truck guys. You roll into their parking lot at the shop, and they all drive custom vehicles. So they use their products that they sell on their own vehicles. So if you guys are looking for anything for your vehicles, whether you're just starting out or you just need some replacement parts or whatever, give them a call or visit their website, switchsuspension.com.
We're good.
We're good.
Okay. You ready?
You know what we didn't do?
What's
this
that?
This is the episode, the 1 year. This is the 1 year to the pilot, right?
This is 1 year to episode 1. So actually, if you count the pilot, last episode was episode 52.
Was it?
Yeah, because we started pilot and then 1. And last episode was episode number 51.
Oh.
And so this is episode number 52. So either way you look at it, we've made it 1 year.
We didn't get the little
I know. Well, because I thought we were recording tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was under the impression because I thought you said you were going to be busy tomorrow. And
That's what
so
I did say.
like mentally.
That's what I did say.
Oh, you did say that?
I said I'm going to be busy on Thursday.
Oh, maybe that's where I got mixed up. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was not mentally prepared for today.
Neither was I.
I'm barely mentally prepared to function right now.
I know. I just got the trailer and like all sorted, and that's what I have to do. That's what I have to do tomorrow is get the club trailer all sorted.
Mm-hmm.
So
did you get all your stuff out of the little trailer and then put it in the garage?
Yeah, and then so basically I have to take all the stuff from the garage, take all the stuff out of the trailer, stuff in the garage, put it in the trailer, and then my stuff, put it away, and then tomorrow I have to there's a bunch of stuff in the club trailer that I have to put also in this little trailer,
mm-hmm.
and go through it and stuff.
Yeah, I just got done emptying my truck from when we did the switching over from my truck to the Maverick, back into my truck, and like I said, I'm doing better today. Yesterday I got home, and I was kind of a little zombified from the trip, Yeah, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about our trip to Mini Nats. Yeah. Last episode
we're talking about our trip. We're talking about Mini Nats and our trip home.
Yes, because the last episode was the trip there.
Yeah.
And so now we talk about the show itself and the trip home, which the show was great. It was so great.
And we always say that. We always say the show is rad. The show is great. The show is so good. It was so this. We're okay. Here's the thing.
Okay.
We're not going to go to a show that's not good. So we can just get that out of the way right now.
All right. Well, that's out of the way. The show is great.
From here on out, we don't need to say how the show is rad or it was great, because we're not going to go to shows that aren't.
That's true. But the show did have its problems.
Yeah, let's just talk about the negative stuff, not the positive stuff.
I was going to ask you, where do you want to begin?
About this?
Do you want to begin with the bad stuff, get out of the way, or just talk about the good stuff?
Let's just begin with where we left off on the last podcast, and which was Thursday night.
Okay. So Friday, we got to the show.
Yeah,
and I don't know what else to say. It was good. No, I was kidding. No, we got
I know. After we recorded that last podcast, we were uploading it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was seeing people cruising, looking on TikTok and Instagram, and I was like, oh man, should we go out and like drive around a little bit?
When we got there Thursday, yeah.
After we recorded the podcast, so it was like what 10 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And so we were just like, all right, we'll just crash out and we'll wake up in the morning and just get at it. But then you start seeing people cruising already, and I was like, man, we should be out there.
Even Tanner hit us up. He's like, "Are you guys ready to go cruising?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh no, we kind of got to get ready for tomorrow." Which is that was one of the things about this weekend is like the show is growing and becoming so big that it's almost turning into like a Thursday thing now. Before it was like we get there Thursday. I think the first year we went, I'm recollecting to the first year we went, and we got there Thursday night late, like 2 o'clock in the morning, super late. We get up in the morning and we get going, and Friday was still chill. Like it was still just people kind of rolling in and vendors sort of setting up. I think we set up, but it wasn't until like later in the day that we got like fully set up, when we were just under the impression like, okay, we'll get set up, get everything organized, be up for a couple hours and then tear it all down. And then we'll do like I don't want to say the real show, but the busy part tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
now Friday, there was legitimately a line probably 300 or 400 feet long at that spectator gate right there of spectators waiting to get in.
Yeah.
So at 9:00 they opened the spectator gate and it was just on and cracking. And the funniest thing is the reason that I like my biggest worry about getting there early is getting a good parking spot.
Yeah. Which is, which I found out is a legitimate concern.
It's very important.
Because Saturday we got there early Friday, got a good spot. Got there early Saturday, got a good spot. Well, we got there early Saturday for other reasons. We'll get into that in a minute, but we still had a good spot. And then like I was having some like bad heartburn. I was like, I need to go find some Tums. So I left. And then when I got back, me being gone was probably maybe 30, 40 minutes. Like 30, 35 minutes of that was just trying to find a parking space again. It was insane, dude. People were parking everywhere. They were just everywhere. Like if there's like a little like nook that could fit a car, something was parked there.
Well, last year I left to get ice or something in the Titan, and I had to park down the street and across the street.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I remembered that, and I was like, okay, now we got to get there, and like because we're constantly forgetting stuff too. Like we can't carry everything from the car back, so it's nice just to be like right there in the front.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that was Friday, and the funny thing is we didn't leave the booth really Friday at all.
No, we didn't film really anything on Friday during the day.
Nope.
Yeah.
And it was kind of nice. It was the biggest difference between this year and last year was the first time we didn't have Angie there. Mm-hmm. And then this year, so we did it and we were like, okay, now this year we were a little more relaxed because we kind of knew the process.
Right, right. And this was the second year we were kind of in that vendor corral. So we already kind of got a feel for, how things were going to be, which I like, I was thinking about that, about how it was like set up the first couple times we went. And how we were like along the fence in the back there. And I actually like how this is set up now with the corral. Like the vendor corral.
100%. Well, and Jason's, they're smart because they have the spectators come into the corral.
That's where everybody comes in. The only thing that I felt was weird, not weird, but different, or like you were kind of like separated from the show, because usually when we were around that perimeter you could kind of like look at the show and observe and see what's going on, which was kind of cool because it would almost, you could sit there mentally and just sort of like scope, okay, I want to film that, I want to get that, oh that looks cool, like you can almost like build it up in your head. But we were being in the vendor corral, and on the back of the vendor corral we didn't see anything that's going on in the show.
Well, and last year we didn't have so we had the hot rides across from us this year. Last year, a couple vendors didn't show up, so we didn't have any. It was, that field was way more open.
Oh, that's right.
And remember, there was cars parked in there, like show cars. So it felt more like you were part of the show.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So yeah. So this was, but no, I was thinking about that. Like Friday, we didn't even leave the booth, and it was just consistently busy, and it was a little breezy. We had a couple of we had to get over some. Your table fell. My table almost fell. Hats were flying off. Yeah. So you got those little bungee cords, and you bungee corded them to the totes underneath, and that fixed that problem. And then at that point when that happened, I remember going around, and our easy ups are 10 by 20s, and they're staked into the ground. And I went around and I double staked them, so each foot has 2 holes. And so I went around and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna double stake these."
Yeah, because we felt it and we're like, this is a little bit different.
Well, no, it just got, there's a couple times it got a little breezy, and I was like, there's just 2 of us right here. So
yeah, like in
we
case it gets rowdy,
we need to double stake this. And so we did that. And then towards the end of the day, I was like, let's bring these down. And we were like, because to bring our easy ups down, we have to unhook our metal racks that we hook up to the easy ups. So it's not just like a quick thing. We kind of have to. So we're like, should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we do it? And we ended up doing it. And we went out and did the cruising in the Maverick. That worked out really well.
That was cool. We have so much. We talked about it on the last episode, the driving there, but the Maverick was great in so many different things. And that was one of them. The cruising was like, since it's like lower, it's not as tall as the Nissans, the Titans. and it's not as like stiff suspension, so it's not as
Yeah.
bouncy. So it was like
Yep.
really low, really smooth. It was easy to get around in the bed.
Yep.
It made it really great for filming the cruise.
Yeah, and there's even time I just took my camera off of the gimbal because it is smoother, and that's why, like, a lot of people, when I'll go and I'll film for clients or whatever, and they're like, "Which vehicle do you want to take?" I'm like, "I want to take the stock vehicle." Usually the car. They're like, "Oh, you don't want to take my dually or whatever?" I'm like, "No, because it rides. They just ride too. Yeah, they ride too stiff, you know." So, also going 3 miles an hour helps.
Yeah,
too. It's not
the
very
cruise.
good.
Yeah, the cruise has definitely become more congested, just because the overall amount of people I think was more. I was looking at I keep very close records of like sales and how we do, over the course of these trips. And I was looking at mini nats in particular, going back to like 19, 20, 21, 22, and now 23. And, I'm not going to give away like exact details, but this year was very good compared to the other two. And I've been thinking about this lately. I've been putting some thought into it. And I think that because all the shows that we've been to this year have been better than they have been in the past couple years.
Yeah.
I really think we've gotten to a point now where everybody is comfortable to go to a show. I think, obviously we didn't do anything in 2020. 2021, people were doing stuff, but maybe still uneasy. 21, then 22, though, it was a little more comfortable, but still, I always thought it was like, man, it's not exactly how it was before. But this year has been the first year that I felt like everything is just like, I don't want to say how it was, but I guess that's the best way to put it.
I don't think that's it at all. I think we've gotten busier because of the podcast and everything like that. I think our popularity and our reach has gotten farther than it used to be. Because I went to Scraping the Coast in 2020 and it was normal. I went to, you know what I mean? Remember LST in 2021?
That's true. Yeah, there was a lot of people there.
It was normal, So
Yeah.
I just think it's honestly like we're just, because so many people over the weekend were like, the podcast. So I just think it's everything. We're just doing more to grow our reach.
That could be. Yeah. It's just maybe it coincides with exactly how things have been going, like the trajectory of like, how we do these shows have been going over the past couple of years. It just could be coincidental that those two things line up. So yeah, no, you're right. Those are great points.
So what time we ended up? What did we? Oh yeah. So Friday night we went up and down with the Maverick, and we would go down one, up one, and then we would switch driver to passenger, or you would drive and I would get in the back, and then we would go up, down, and then we finally stopped, and then we were like, I remember running. Oh, but Lonnie and Radar jumped in the Maverick. That was funny.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was fun.
Funny. And then so we got back on Friday night, and Lonnie was like, "We're gonna be across the street from the waterfall. Hey, come over there." So me and you split up again. I was like, we lost each other.
Uh-huh.
And then I went back across the street and I saw the switch van coming. So I was like, I'm going to hop in the switch van, which is, we'll put a video or a picture of it here. If you were at Mini Nats, you saw it. Definitely saw it. So
you definitely heard it too.
Definitely heard it. Yeah.
Because
So
the thing is loud.
did I go up and down once before we saw you again? Or did we just, or we might've just gone like another 100 feet and I could only see out. I was sitting on the floor, so I could only see out the door. I couldn't see, there's no windows. But I think I heard you, and then you came around to the front and you're like, ah,
yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Cause I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going on. And then, cause like that was one of the plans the whole time was to cruise with those guys. Cause so the guys from Switch, came out and they brought the van. And so we knew that kind of going into it, and that was going to be one of the plans. It would be really cool to cruise around this van, and really cool because like also like filming out of that thing was fun because the way that door is, it opens and you can get some like, usually we're hanging over the bed, but this one we were able to hang out the side and get some cool shots. Like last year we were hanging out with our friend with the minivan, and his had two doors that opened, which was cool because then you could like jump back and forth. But it was really cool filming out of a vehicle like that, and the switch van was just as cool.
It was, and then that was packed. There was 3 people on the seat, 2 people on the floor, and then Seth and Tanner in the front. So
yeah,
it was. I remember Mini Truck Matt when we were over there. He's like, "Can I get a ride?" Like he was doing his hitchhiking thing, and we're like,
yeah.
Dude, there is no room in here. Like
It was pretty tight.
It was.
That was this. Yeah. Well. Oh yeah. That was Friday night. Yeah. That was Friday night.
Yeah.
When we saw him. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then we ended up like, what happened? Oh, it just died. It's so crazy how that place goes from a massive, like just craziness. And then it's like a light switch and everyone just stops cruising.
Yeah. It was really weird because Saturday night in particular, like, and I've been to so many runs and stuff like that. You know the energy, and there's a particular energy when people are starting to have a really good time, and there's like this like little pocket where it goes from awesome, like good times to insanity.
Yeah.
And you know that feeling. And Saturday, when people start doing burnouts and people start getting like a little more aggressive with dragging, I felt that feeling. I was like, this is gonna pop off. This is gonna get insane in like a half an hour, and then poof, gone.
Yeah. And
it was
and
so
the funny
weird.
thing is, I had that feeling too, of like, oh, this is gonna get too crazy.
Exactly.
And it never did.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was such a weird feeling.
Yeah.
To just, it was, I don't want to say a ghost town, but it went from 2 miles packed, both lanes, to like maybe 3 trucks cruising around. It was so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. And then we crashed out at like 1 a.m. We have a time we ended up going to sleep. Woke up and doing our thing, getting ready to go. And I remember I was in the restroom getting ready to take a shower, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm like I'm scrolling on my Facebook, and I saw someone trying to get a hold of Leah Alicia from Auto Nerd Media, who was set up right next to us. And it was like, can someone get a hold of Leah? Her Easy Up's sitting on top of a truck. And then I heard you go. You were outside, and I was in the restroom, and you were outside, and I heard you go, shit.
Yeah.
I was like, what? You're like, oh,
it was the F word, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It was. And I was like, what? And you're like, our stuff's all messed up. We got to go. And it was the Body Drop Clothing guys that hit you up.
So you're in there.
Who were right next to, it was like Body Drop Clothing, Auto Nerd Media, you and me.
Yeah. And thanks to those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys were awesome because they were like, yeah. So I'm laying on the bed, like doing the same thing. I get a message from Body Drop Clothing on Instagram, and I did one of those things where it didn't register right away. I'm looking at them all.
Oh, because they sent you a photo.
Yeah, they did. And we'll put that photo up too.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, and then that's when my brain was kind of in denial for a few seconds.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Mm-mm. So it's my Easy Up, your Easy Up, halfway up, half gone, and my Easy Up on its lid.
Your Easy Up was on its side.
Yeah. Well,
like on its side. And since they were connected, it like twisted mine.
Yeah. Cause like half of yours stayed still, and it took it and it just went and twisted it. Yeah. That was after doing this for so many years and us dealing with so many problems, that was probably the worst feeling I ever had.
Yeah. And when I saw it, I was just like, oh, well, whatever.
I know. Well, I mean, you and I are two different people.
Yeah. But now you know, like, this should just prove to you that, like, that's like worst case scenario still is okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not like you got to pack up and go home.
That's true.
You know, like worst case scenario, you go down to Walmart and you buy an Easy Up for their $80 and you just put it up and keep on trucking. You know, the worst part is obviously having to pay for stuff once it's done. But again, like with your trailer, when your trailer messed up, like you can't go to however many shows you go to a year, set up, tear down, travel without having a problem.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. And I think not that we've gotten, well, maybe that's the way to put it. We've gotten lucky over the years, you know, that we haven't had it happen yet. But, you know, I thought about that a lot too. I was like, this is not a variable, but like, what's the word? Like, it's something that's bound to happen at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's just like the weather, because you can't, it's like imagine going like, I talked to Seth at Switch about this. The first time he went to LST, it was perfect weather and he cruised around. He had a blast.
Mm-hmm.
So
what year was that one?
I forgot which one it was, but he's like, I'm going all in. So he brings the booth out and all this stuff. And then like, it was like crappy weather.
Yeah.
But then it's like good. So it's like, nothing is solid all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for, I mean, you could blow a tire. Your trailer could get messed up. Look what's happened to Doug's trailer in the past.
Yeah.
Like, you have to take these things like over a 10-year period, and over that 10-year period, your positives outweigh the negatives, meaning money too, because like if you have to have made more money to cover these costs as well, because it's not going to be perfect every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I learned a lot on this trip from that. I learned, from that experience. One of the things was, because like you said, let's drop them. And usually we never drop them. And then I was even like, do you think we need to? But you had a feeling to drop them. We need to start, not start, but it was just like it made a point that we need to start listening to our intuitions, like.
We also need to, we just need to spend a little bit more time. So this is another thing that I was going to talk. So the easy ups and the stuff that didn't get blown over, because it wasn't just our easy up that got blown over. That whole place,
it happened to a bunch of people.
It was like a war zone.
It was. But
not all of them were messed up. So the ones that weren't, like ours were staked down, but if we would have had them weighted down, then they wouldn't have blown over. So like it might have ripped the top off, or it might have done something, but we probably would have been okay if we would have just weighted them down and staked them down. So now we know the next time we need to weight them down. So I bought these water bags. I bought 4 of them, but I'm gonna buy 4 more. So I'm gonna have 8 water bags. Like we could have set those easy ups on Friday or on Thursday, dropped the trailer off, went to the hotel or wherever, filled those water bags up and brought them back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have 8 of them. And I'm going to have like 1 on each corner and then 2 in the center, weighting that down, and it'll be fine. Cause every easy up I looked at that had weights on them was totally fine.
Yeah, that's true. Including the guy next to us too. And hot rides across from us. Yeah. It was definitely a learning experience. But we got through it. We made it through. But when we first got there on Saturday and we saw, what had happened, we flipped them over. We did our best to kind of like patch them together. And then as we were doing that, we were putting together a plan to fix it, not fix it. Yeah, fix it. Cause we ended up fixing mine, but we were just starting putting plans together.
Yeah. Well, the first plan was to get them just to get business conducted. So like we got yours flipped over. We kind of examined everything. And we're like, okay, we can make this work for the day. Shout out to Hammered Weekend Wear for giving me the entire roll of duct tape that we used to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this, go watch it, because we have a lot of video to add to this. But yeah, every like cross section of mine, like you had 2 cross sections that had duct tape. Mine was like everywhere.
Yours definitely took the brunt of it by being twisted in the middle like that. It definitely took the brunt of it.
Yeah. So like, but yeah, we got through it, and then like you said, we throughout the day we were kind of like, okay, let's do this, we'll do this, and then luckily. Our plan was to take pieces of my easy up, put it on yours, and make yours whole, because you have an event this weekend and I don't. So like, I was like, okay, we'll just do that, and then we'll figure it. But then you were like, let's do that now. So we did that on Saturday. Yeah, okay. So that's something we didn't do on Saturday we did different on Saturday versus something that we usually don't do, is we took the booth all the way down.
Yeah, sort of like. I don't know. It's like because it wasn't really windy. Like the wind had already subsided by then, and the wind.
It doesn't matter though. We were like,
it was like
after that, like this whole thing changes now.
Oh yeah, I know, I know for sure.
The next show we do, whether you're gonna be in Havasu, it's always windy in Havasu.
I know. Well, lucky for me, the Havasu. So that's what I'm doing this weekend. For anyone who doesn't know, I just got back from Indianapolis.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second, but just go with the
okay.
Like,
yeah. Well, yeah. So I'm going to be out there, but the nice thing about that one is the setting up and vendor stuff is only on Saturday. So I'll be setting up, doing the vendor stuff, and then at night take it away.
Yeah. So whatever the next one that we do, whether it's together or whatever, we have to leave the booth up overnight. We're going to look at each other and go, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Are we going to bring the easy ups down? So. That's why I'm getting those jugs. I'll send you the link too of so
I can pick up some myself. Yeah,
yeah, because I think they come in 4 packs and they're super compact. But again, I think if we get,
what I noticed?
What's that?
When I was like putting away my flags, it had 2 of those things. I have 2 of those things on me because they were my flag cases.
Oh, that's right, because they do come.
Yeah.
I have four of those then, because I have 2 of those. I bought 4 flags.
There you go. Yeah. So you probably do.
But these ones, these are specific for the easy up.
Oh, I see. So they like go around the legs.
Yeah. So instead of you're trying to like wrap cords or whatever, they have like Velcro that go on the legs themselves.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So
yeah, we're definitely going to be more cautious, prepared. Like, I don't know what the right word is, but we are definitely going to be something else when it comes to that.
Yeah, 100% easy ups will come down. And then 100% will have not only staked, like double staked each foot and water weights.
Yeah, we're gonna be prepared.
Because, and that's kind of what, like, a lot of people's easy ups, they were flying everywhere in the fields. And this is nothing new. This happens all the time, right? Like, there's only so much you can do to be careful. But at the end of the day, like, accidents do happen. And if a vehicle does get damaged, it does suck. But nobody went out there with, like, the intent to do anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, could someone have weighted down their stuff? But I mean, that's the worst feeling. Like, imagine if your easy up rolled and hit a vehicle, right? You're just like, oh my God.
I kept saying that to myself,
Yeah. So no matter, regardless of the easy up, even if your easy up was trash and you had to go spend $1,200 on a new one, I mean, it's better. It's like better knowing that you had to spend $1,200 versus like someone's car getting messed up.
Right. And then having to go through that entire process. Yeah,
because at the end of the day, like, people should all have insurance on their vehicles going to these shows, because you never know what could happen. Like, your vehicle might get hit, you know what I mean, on accident when you're cruising. And again, that word that I'm going to use, accident. All of these things are accidents. No one is going out there and doing these things on purpose. So, I saw some things being posted online and calling people names. And I heard some rumblings as I was walking around on Sunday about some things. And it's just like, look, none of us are perfect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're the person and you're going online and you're calling someone a name, you're calling someone out for an accident, something they didn't do on purpose, you need to do a little self-reflecting. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And realize that you've probably been in a car accident. You've probably like done things on accident. So, just before anyone goes out there and like thinks that they're perfect, they might want to check themselves.
And that's, I thought about that situation too. Like, we're out there cruising, like everybody's cruising their ride. These rides that people have put tons and tons of money into and time and effort, and they have a real emotional attachment to them. You're still putting, it's just like driving on the road in a regular car. There is some liability to doing all this stuff. And
there's a risk.
Happen.
There's a risk to it.
A risk and liability. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like I've seen people pull out of the driveways and these guys have like super powerful engines and they get them sideways.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that at any second that can get away from you. I don't care how good of a driver you think you are. Like, you can't foresee everything. So when whether it's an easy up or whether it's a fender bender or whatever, like, don't go pointing your fingers at people.
Yeah.
It's just, it just kind of some things I saw. I'm not going to say anything, but
yeah, no, definitely.
Like, things happen, and I'm sure everyone feels bad about it. If my easy up hit a car, I'd feel bad about it, but I would do everything I could to figure it out,
Yeah, no, definitely. It's actually kind of surprising how that stuff doesn't happen more if you think about it. There's like dudes who are dragging, burning out, doing a lot of things. Like, kind of surprising it doesn't happen more often.
It's very true. Like, I remember I was going to go to cross the street and I was like, so we just like kind of, and I went to step out and this bug just blew by. And
yeah.
I was like, let me just, because there was some people driving pretty quick up and down that road.
Yeah.
So.
And there's no traffic lights either. I think the closest traffic light is a couple miles down the road, and everything is, if you want to cross the street, then everything is relied on like pedestrian crosswalks with no markings. I don't know. I didn't see him this year, but I remember in years past they have like a little thing. It's a cup with flags. So you're like supposed to put up the flag and cross the street.
Yeah. I was looking for him and they weren't there.
Oh,
and
someone moved him.
Well, remember Derek with the dually? Derek Cordover. He was the one out there with the flag.
He was like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I saw he's going to bring flags for next year. He's like, they didn't have him out there, so I'm going to make my own flags and bring them next year.
I wonder why they took him away.
I don't know, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, it was funny. And it actually worked because, I guess we're the perpetrators of this, but we sell a bunch of black clothing and we're all wearing black, walking around at night trying to cross the street with hundreds of vehicles going up and down it.
Yeah.
But so that was this thing that happened, but there are so many great things that happened.
That's the thing, right? So we persevered Saturday. We fixed it Sunday. We set the booth up. We had a great day Sunday, but then throughout the weekend, it was just amazing the amount of people that came up. Even in like they would pass by and like, hey, I like the podcast. Hey, I love the videos.
It was really
hey,
cool.
This like it was just real cool, and we got some gifts. So
Yeah. We'll talk about that. Our fans are the greatest because, like you said, they're always telling us how much they love the podcast.
I don't like to say our fans.
Our listeners.
Our friends.
Our friends. Our friends. Okay, yeah.
Our fans sound very, very weird.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Forgive me. Our friends.
No, it's not. It's just a natural thing. But then when you said it, I'm all, I don't know.
That sounds weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
our friends are great, and they make us stuff. And our friend Matt and his crew made us a couple little bats. And the way he presented it to us, he's all, here, I made these for you. So they're really cool. So he hands it to me like this, and I look at it, and it says Broke Society. They're like laser etched for our audio listeners. It's a mini wooden bat, and it's laser etched Broke Society. And he's all, turn it over. So I roll it, and on the other side is the drop logo and the words Dwight sent me. So I'm going to show that to the camera right there. So for our audio listeners, come over to the YouTube channel and check it out. It's really cool. I love how that has become a thing. Dwight sent me. A lot of people say it. And like the first couple times it was said to us, like it was kind of like, so you're not used to hearing that. So it's kind of like, what? But now, it happens frequently. So now it's like a great joke.
Well, the first time the guy said it, I thought he said his wife sent
Yeah, right. Because
the wife sent me. Sounds like the wife sent me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also got gifts from our buddy Matt.
Yeah. Matt. Wait, this Matt or another Matt?
No. The hats.
Oh, Mike Santanella. Mike Santanella. Yeah. So
Yes.
first of all, so he first of all, he's got a dope Forerunner, and he messages us a lot, and we've been kind of like following the build along, and he's got a first gen Forerunner, 2-door first gen Forerunner with a removable hardtop, and for this show he had it last year and it was bagged, and then this year he spent the last year getting the bodywork done and it painted, and it is so sick. This is going to be a very visual heavy, so I'm going to have to make a lot of notes to put this up in. But right here, we'll put in a picture of Mike's Forerunner. And the thing is so sick. Well, he's a SoCal guy. He's from Riverside. Yeah. He moved out to Arkansas. I don't know when, but he moved out to Arkansas. But he's a SoCal dude, so he grew up here, and he was part of the scene for a really long time. And he came up to the booth, he's like, hey, I got something for you. And he gave us, I don't know what happened to yours. I don't know where that went.
It's in the garage with my stuff.
Oh, okay.
I haven't even
but this one right here,
yet.
I'll take it out of the bag because he was nice enough to dry clean it. So that's cool. Okay, so I want to, throw it on, maybe take it out and about. But this is a skin hat. Because we were talking about that on a previous episode, talking about like the OG SoCal like clothing companies and stuff, and he's like, "Hey, I wanted you to have this, my OG skin hat." So that was really cool.
The funny thing is I think he made a comment on somewhere, and he goes, "Frank, I have a surprise for you."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and I was like, just being fun. I was just like, "Well, what about you? Can't give Frank something and not give me something."
Oh,
so
he's like, "I got you."
He's like, so he gave me an OG Reds hydraulic visor.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, super cool.
So I think he just had your thing, and then he looked around. He's like, "What can I give Brian?" He's like, "Oh, there's that."
Yeah,
but it's super cool. I'll put a picture of it right here. I don't have it on me. It's out in the garage. But then, and then I gave him I had a board made by Smithworks.
Mm-hmm.
And he painted this skateboard. It was like it wasn't, everyone gets his boards done now, and they're the new school skateboards.
Yeah, like
I call them new school, but
yeah, I guess you'd call them like a twin nose. Yeah, just your modern skateboard.
Yeah, but when I was riding skateboards a long time ago, we had the OG ones with, the single tail and the fatter front end. So I ordered one of those, and I had it sent out to Daniel Smithworks, and he painted it, and I didn't tell. I was like, whoever I give this to, because it's not like an official thing through the show. I just did it. I'm just gonna set it by their truck somewhere, so it's perfect. He wasn't around his truck, so I set it inside his truck.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that was so sick, and I'll put a picture of it there. And then we got magazines. We got these.
Oh yeah, those are great. Yeah. We talked to him. Was that Sunday morning? I
It
don't
was
know.
Sunday morning. Yeah. I think
It
Sunday.
was, dude, there's so much stuff that happened this weekend. So much stuff.
It almost gets to the point where it's too much, and it's not like too much of a good thing type thing. It's just like, but it's like Friday comes and then Sunday comes and you're going home.
Yeah.
Like there's just in the middle, especially for us, like when we were taking over for each other and we'd go out and film the show, you're just like, you would, oh my God, I didn't see that. And it's crazy.
Well, we said a couple times, and we say this in jest, but the problem with the show is there's too many cool trucks. Like it is insane the amount of quality trucks that are there. And not like just like good looking trucks, but like high quality paint, interior, suspension, wheels, like every truck. Like we were talking about how just the amount of square body Rangers there was in one place. Like, first of all, you don't really see too many square body Rangers, people building them now. You go to this show and there's 6 of them,
or more.
Or
like
more.
I was looking at the white one from Canada, and then I looked at, there's one right next to it, and then I turned around and there's 3 more, and then behind that there was 3 more, and I go, wait a minute, did these guys all get together like on a square body Ranger forum and like this is where they're bringing their stuff? It's sorry, I'm looking at something.
Oh,
quick.
you got distracted.
I got distracted.
It's okay.
It pertains to what we're talking about now, though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then I don't know.
It's amazing. So many great trucks. So many trucks. The one that just popped in my mind right now is I saw Flakenstein, that S10 that was built like in the mid 2000s with its gold and red with flames and heavy flake. Like I haven't seen that truck in years and years and years.
It's popped up a couple of times,
like not in person.
Yeah, it's popped up here and there, and I don't know.
It was cool. I'm just saying that there was like so many awesome trucks. And you know what else was really cool for me was to see the trucks that I've seen last year come back with new stuff. There was a white,
that white Isuzu.
Yeah, there was a white Isuzu, and it's funny because before we got there, I made a little TikTok and used a clip of that cruising down the strip, and I'm walking around and I was like, oh, this looks just like that white one. I was like, oh, it is, and it's all graphics on the side, the interior. And for this stuff, like we won't add pictures of this. You'll have to watch the video when it comes out because it'll really drive it home. But the interior was all done, and it blew me away. The stitching on the seats had different types of colored material that was stitched in the same pattern as the graphics. It was awesome. It was so cool. And then in the door panels too, it blew me away. That truck was so awesome. And there were a bunch of trucks like that.
Yeah. And I think that the pink Toyota, the one that with the shell, oh God, now the name.
Ballistic. Yeah. Like
that was probably one of the more talked about vehicles just because of the original truck and how groundbreaking that truck was.
And the original truck was.
What's that?
And what was the original truck? You explained it to me. I remember it, but
the original truck was like the first body drop truck,
right, on the cover of Mini Truckin'.
Yeah. So like that, it's just one of those things that was I don't know how to explain it. It was insane.
And a couple like old relics popped up as well that was really cool. We saw Lolux, Mike Alexander's old truck Lolux, and it was completely finished. That truck, I mean, I remember from Forbidden Fantasy way back in the day, when you first started building it. Sadistic did the chassis. That was there finished. That was really cool. Another one, this is a little kind of lesser known one, but still cool for me. There was a black and red Mazda that Sadistic also built that they finished about 8 years ago now.
Alan painted it.
Yeah, Alan did the paint. Bobby did the suspension. That was there. That was really cool to see. It's just, I mean, you can't walk 5 feet without tripping over something just absolutely insanely cool.
Yeah, and so that's tough. That's why it's tough for me to talk about any one vehicle.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is like usually I get like LST, for example. We were talking about it post show, talking about it during the podcast, and I think you asked me, or we were talking about like, well, what was your favorite truck? And I get so caught up sometimes in a whirlwind that I forget to stop and not appreciate, but step back and really look at everything. And I made it a point to do it at this show that I really wanted to soak in the vehicles and look at them and observe and put them in my brain. And I did that. And those were the ones, not just the ones that stuck on my mind. There were many, but wanted to make a point of that this time.
Yeah. So does any of this stuff, because I know like when we were cruising in the Switch van and I was like, this makes me want to bring my truck here and just play the stereo and drive it up. But seeing any of those show trucks, does that make you want to like finish your interior? Does that make you want to like go to the next step?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Totally does. It makes me feel bad that I don't.
I know, right?
You know, I'm like, here I am. But we've said many times that it's like kind of like a balance for us. Because the number one question that I get out there is like, when you bring in your 4Runner? And I'm like, I want to so badly. But, you know, we've developed this whole thing that like it's really hard to. And that, I mean, not hard. It just, I mean, all it would really cost is me just paying someone to bring it out, you know?
No, you could bring it out,
or I bring it out, or something, you know.
Like, because like you could throw that 4Runner on the back and tow it out with the Titan, and then we could literally put the like. Basically, this is what it comes down to. We're making excuses.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's all it is. Because we tried like this year at the Maverick with the gas. Like we're like, oh, sick. It's like cheap. It's cheaper, right? Mm-hmm. But in the end, we could just spend the extra money and actually do these things. Because last year at this time, we were talking about the OBS and the 4Runner.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And we didn't do it.
Yeah.
So we need to do that.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think we deserve it. Hold on. Yeah, we deserve it, and everyone else deserves it too. Like for us to actually like commit and actually do that.
Yeah. No, those are great points. Speaking about the Maverick and the booth and the smaller trailer thing, it really put into perspective exactly how we can streamline what we do. You know, I was in my trailer today, so I was unloading everything back out of my truck, back into my own trailer, and it blew me. I'm all, this thing is huge.
Yeah.
Like I never really thought about it. I just sort of like did it, you know, it was pulled it behind the Titan and took it to shows and did it. But now working out of your smaller trailer and putting everything in and being in my trailer, I'm like, this thing is huge. So the point is like, it kind of stuck with me exactly how much we can streamline it, because my whole booth minus some tables fit in the bed of the Titan.
Yeah. I mean, I've taken my booth in the bed of my Titan. Granted, I have a tinier, little bit longer of a bed, but that's the thing is you can do it.
Yeah.
We could literally put those with the right trailer. We could streamline that, use my Titan with the longer bed and tow it out there. You know what I mean? Or the OBS, if the OBS is running good, like we could do it. We just have to be committed to it and like
that's a good point.
And actually do it. But the problem is the commitment starts now. Like you can't just be like 2 weeks before and be like, so which one are we taking? It's like, no. The 4Runner runs good and all that stuff. So it would just have to be, it would, but we could definitely do it.
Yeah. I'm sure we could figure it out. Maybe. Hey, and next year is the 30th anniversary of Mini Nats. I mean,
that's true. And that's what I was looking at my phone. When we were talking to Phil Fowler, he goes on Monday. Every year he gets there on Monday and he just kind of relaxes and stuff. And when we were driving up there this time and the Switch guys, they went down to Pigeon Forge and stuff on the way up. I was like, that would be fun. But we just, you know, our schedules didn't allow it. But I was just like, man, it would be fun to get there like Tuesday night and spend Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday in like Pigeon Forge just messing around. And then Thursday, I could just imagine sitting in the middle of that field where they have the show and just talking to everybody, just like a group of like 10 or 15 or 20 people just kind of talking. Because you just don't get, we don't get that because of the vending, the booth and stuff. But there's so many people there throughout the week and you're just like little conversation and then the next little conversation and to the next one where it just, I wish we had a whole day just to sit around and just talk.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. It fits in the same vein though of commitment. Like if we committed to do that right now, we could do that.
Yeah,
we could load up the trailer with one of the trucks and do that. So hey, let's start talking about that now. We'll start talking about it now, and then
we'll talk about it again at this time next year about how we're going to do it in 20.
But we do that to ourselves. We start talking about stuff, and if we keep on talking about it, most of the time we convince ourselves to do it.
Yeah, I think so.
So if we just need to, and now that we're saying it on the podcast, all of our friends are going to start holding us accountable to it.
Yeah, that is like, a good thing with this.
That is a good thing. So they'll be like, well, are you going to bring it? So what do you like? how are you going to make it work? You know? So
Yeah.
here we go.
And also that's just content for us too.
Oh yeah. Dude, imagine taking a vehicle out there and that journey and how cool that would be to document, you know?
Yeah.
It'd be great.
It would be. I think I can get the OBS. I mean, it runs good and stuff now, but get it bagged and body dropped by then. It's got a big bed in it. So like, do you think, minus tables, because tables are always the weird thing, but do you think you can fit your booth in and around the 4Runner on a trailer?
Yeah, because definitely using all that space, because I thought about it. If my truck was full minus the tables, but the tables you could lay like flat on the bottom and then put everything on top of it. So it's not a trouble at all.
And there's so many
your
people
booth
that
is similar in size.
Yeah, and there's so many people that go out. We could have someone take our easy ups out.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like it. We're gonna. I think we're planting the seeds here.
It's just got me when we were cruising in the switch van and the stereo. Like, oh, this would be cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that thing. I hadn't been in a vehicle like that in a long time, and so so Tanner put that whole inside together, and it's got 4 12s in the back of it. So you're sitting in the back of this van with 4 12s behind you, just banging. It was cool, but it was definitely like I forgot that feeling, you know, because I hadn't done it in so long. So the first 15, 20 minutes, and you're like, whoa, you know, it was cool. It was definitely cool. So the other things was you wanted to talk about the big auction that went down.
So I always say this event reminds me of like Southern Worthersea, which is held in Georgia in a similar town, which is a VW European car event. And the event got so big that they had events within the event. So like up the road, they would have like the golf meet. And then down the road, they would have like the BMW meet. And then this. So I think this event's getting to that point where there's like the show. But if you can't make it inside the show, then you could be like, well, I'm taking my truck anyways because I'm going to cruise. And then you get together, like you're on, say you have a Mazda, and you're like, I'm going to get a bunch of Mazdas together. And on Friday, we're going to have a Mazda meet at 3 p.m. at the ghost town up the road.
Right, yeah.
Or we're going to go up to the Lookout Tower and we're going to have a Ford Ranger meet. You know what I mean? Like there's those little things. And then there's also the events that go on during the show. And that one of those is put on by Rose Metal Works, which is Sean Rose. And he like bead rolls metal and stuff like that. And him and David, I say his last name probably wrong, McGaffey. They raised $41,500 for breast cancer awareness for a family.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And he sent me a whole list of people that are involved. If you want to go check that out, go follow Rose_metal_works or Spreading the Love. It's on Instagram. I mean, nothing really else needs to be said. $41,500.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, at that time I was out filming, so I was overhearing what was going on. And basically what they do is they get people to give them items, and then they auction off those items. And as I was kind of listening, one item was an original banner that Hammered Weekend Wear had. And I believe, I'm probably not totally correct on this, but it was on their trailer. And so they said, okay, this is it. We're going to start at $200. And as I'm filming, I'm listening to what's going on. I think it sold for $3,000. Yeah. You know, and they have many items like this. And it's really heartwarming, and it's really, it sounds, we say this a lot, but we have the trucks in the scene, but we also have these group of people who are very passionate about things. And it's really cool to see that in practice.
Yeah.
Seeing that group of people dedicated to helping people, and in their case, specifically people with breast cancer or who are battling or have battled, or even in some cases lost that battle, helping those people and their families, and to see it in practice is really heartwarming and amazing. It
is. Yeah. So if anyone's out there and they have something they want to donate, or if they want to be there at the stage next year, maybe if you didn't know about it and you want to bid on something or donate or whatever, just check Spreading the Love on Instagram, and follow Sean and follow David with his Nissan and everything. It's just it's just too much good stuff.
Yeah, the Nissan that you're talking about in particular is the 4-door. It used to be a standard cab which they turn into a 4-door, and it's got pink ribbons painted all down the side of it.
Yep.
So cool, dude. Cool organization and cool truck.
Yeah, everything's cool. It's all
another cool truck.
Yeah, there's too much good things happening in the weekend, and I wish. I always say when we go to events like that or 1-day events, I'm like, man, I wish this was a 2-day event, and then this is like a 3-day event that is now essentially a 4-day event.
Right, and it could be more like this, like what you're talking about earlier. That you and I and Phil were talking about, like. You could do that. You could do those like meets. You could have it that, the Ranger meet on a Monday and then on Tuesday. Like it could be, because Phil's idea is to make it almost like a bike week. Yeah. And it's not even out of the realm of possibility. That's exactly what it could be. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be like a full week for every single person that goes, but it could just be for the ones that, we all don't get to see each other enough. And that could just be the one weekend where we get to spend a whole day with people and then the rest of the weekend is just chaos, where this guy goes and hangs out with his club, this guy goes and hangs out with his club, we go and do our vendor thing, and then we're filming, so we just do. It's just hard to like have that time. Yeah, it is. It is time. It's hard to have that time. I remember Saturday. We were getting ready for the cruise. I'm already like, we had all that stuff happen. I'm like mentally exhausted. I'm physically exhausted. Yep. And we had just eaten, so that probably didn't help anything. And like so close to being like, you want to just like chill? You want to just like, we already filmed last night. Was Saturday when we went out, when we went back to the hotel and got pizza? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was too. I was like, we were both like, but I was like, no, we drove all this way. It only happens this one time. It's a couple hours. Just let's go do it. But yeah, because you had, so we had a bucket that you ended up. I have that in my notes. Okay, so in order to take my Easy Up, the parts off of mine and put them onto Frank's, we had to dismantle mine, which means we didn't have a ladder or anything, but we had a little bucket, 5-gallon bucket, and it had a lid on it. Well, we started out with the lid like it right side up and Frank standing on the lid, and he ended up falling through it, and it didn't like tip over. No, he fell into the bucket. It broke. I went straight through to where it's like, you remember, like I was standing on it, and I just remember just like doing something, and it wasn't even like a dramatic fall. It was just like boom. Yeah, you just went down like 8 inches. Yeah, I know. It was so funny. So after that, we had to flip the bucket over, and you were getting up the bucket, down the bucket, up the bucket. I mean, nonstop. So yeah. And then I'm reaching out, like it was just, when we got it all done, we were exhausted. Yeah, we were physically exhausted, mentally exhausted, but we pushed through. And that was Friday night was was fun, but Saturday night was more fun, I guess. For me it was more fun. Saturday was really cool, cruising around the van. We didn't start really cruising around until that 10 o'clock mark, when everything kind of petered off. But it was still fun, man. The weather, it's that perfect thing where it's nice and cool, and it's just like you're cruising, the music's going, and then Tanner was in charge of the music, and he knows who we are, and he's like, so he turns on some Misfits, and we're like bumping Misfits music. Like Misfits is not supposed to be bumped, but for that van, the way it's set up, I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. That's another thing, the weather. So on Friday, everyone's like, ooh, it's supposed to be really bad weather tomorrow, and I'm like, no, it's gonna be fine. They're like, what do you mean? It's only gonna rain in the morning. And we go through this all the time. It's like, it says 80% chance of rain or 90% chance of rain. You have to actually like dive into it a little bit and be like, oh, it's not, because I know some people that didn't go because of the weather. I know our friend Dave Prater. Yeah, he said, oh, weather's gonna be junk. It's not. No, you just go. You just do it. Yeah. That's definitely the weather. Besides, and that the whole wind thing was actually kind of not a freak occurrence, because I'm sure that happens. But I mean, we've been going to this event for a long time. It wasn't a normal thing. It's not like you're like, okay, we know it's gonna, like our show, like it gets windy in Laughlin. You'd be like, you just gotta be ready. It's gonna be windy. Yeah. But that really never crossed our mind. So besides that, the rain. Like if it says rain in the forecast, like there's nothing to worry about, because their rain is way different than like rain that we're used to. Yeah. This is like a little, and then it's done. And it could get pretty rainy there. It's, you know what I mean? Like it could pour, and like I've heard of a couple years before we went, or the year before we went, it rained the whole weekend. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it could do it, but again,
if you look at the forecast and it shows sun on Friday, sun on Sunday, and rain on Saturday, look at Saturday. Is it going to rain all day, or is it just going to rain a little bit? Anyways, don't let the weather discourage you from that event.
No. Yeah. It's just I know we keep saying it. It was fun. Everything was great. It was fun. It was cool. It was rad. Like all of those things.
I know. We always say that.
Random thing was running into that person who's from Apple Valley. That was pretty crazy. That was hilarious because I'm going to put myself on blast a little bit because it's just funny. And this is the second time it's happened, but I've said it before. So we go out to these far off distances. So people say, where are you from? And to say Apple Valley is like, no one knows. So you start regionalizing it. And mine, Southern California, Los Angeles, like that's what I regionalize it to. But on more than one occasion, this a young girl and her mom came up and we started talking and they're, where are you from? I said, oh, I'm from Southern California. They're like, oh, what part? And I was like, well, just sort of outside Los Angeles. And they're like, where? And I was like, okay, well, I'm from this place called the High Desert. Oh yeah, what city? Well, I'm from Apple Valley. And the girl's like, oh yeah, I was just there visiting my grandparents. Yeah. It was crazy.
It was just, I was like sitting in the chair just observing that conversation, was not part of it. And when she said, that's where I was, I'm like, okay, Southern California is big.
Yeah.
And there are, I don't know, 200 cities or more. Mm-hmm. And Apple Valley is like a random city. Like it's not just like Corona or Riverside or San Bernardino. It is it's a small little area up in the high desert. And when she said that, I was like, that's really weird.
That is really weird.
But it was really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I don't know. It's hard to put this whole weekend into just a podcast too.
Yeah. It's probably one of those things that we'll bring up a couple more times. Like, oh, remember this? Or I thought about this.
Yeah.
And plus, like I said, like usually my my post trip thing is, leaving your house, getting home.
Oh yeah. Tell me about how that drive home was.
Yeah. Because it wasn't as bad as some other times.
Yeah. So we left. We didn't talk about this. So we left. It was like 3:00 on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to Buc-ee's, which is nice that there's a Buc-ee's 2 hours from the show. And then we got to on the other side of Memphis. Definitely didn't stay in Memphis.
Definitely didn't stay. In the last podcast we talked about that.
So we got to the other side, and I don't know what time we left there. It was like 8 or 9 in the morning, and we didn't roll into my house till 7 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So
we drove
24 hours. And I felt bad because I couldn't Flagstaff. I drive the last part, but you drove the last 2 hours to my house and then had to drive home. But I was like, but even my truck was telling me. Like,
I know. I told Angie about that.
Yeah.
Because what happened was your truck has a lane, like, I don't know what they call it, but
lane
if you get
centering.
too close. Yeah. And they're like, hey, you're too close to the side. The whole time I was driving, I wasn't like playing with it, but I was very aware of it. Like, but you were doing it so much, your truck told you, hey, you need to relax.
Yeah. Well, at first it'll tell you and with orange box around it, like driver needs rest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever. And then
whatever.
Then it came on and it was like a red box blinking. Yeah. Like you need to pull over now. Like you need to get rest now.
Wow.
And I was like,
that's crazy.
This thing knows.
And then how long was that before I woke up?
It was right when you woke up. Pretty
much.
Okay.
So, all right. So it was right at the right time.
Yeah.
I could only imagine like after that, you're still going like another hour. Just you turn it off and you're like, just shut up, truck.
Just shut up, man. But then you drove from Flagstaff to my house, which was 2 hours roughly. Mm-hmm. And then we just toss my stuff out and you're gone. This time we had to like take the stuff out and put it in your truck.
Yeah. The whole time I was like, I'm going to get there. And it sounds so like black and white, but I'm either going to be raring to go or like I can't go.
Yeah.
And I was like sort of in between that for a long time. And then like I got there and I just got that feeling because I was like, man, by the time we unload this thing, I go in and I lay down. My brain doesn't shut off automatically. So what about if it took me another 15, 20 minutes to like actually fall asleep and get some sleep? I said, I'm just going to go. And my thing is we've talked about this a lot, like how I drive at night. I can do it, but it's like, I have to be laser focused. Like I have to be locked in. And anytime we get off the freeways, that's when my brain goes out.
Yeah.
But during the day, if the sun's out, I'm fine. It's really weird. Like I was tired. Tired. But as soon as like we got it in my truck, I got the truck started and started going and it being daylight. I mean, yeah, when I got home, I was still pretty tired because once I get home and I like unlocked my brain out of that mode. I was like sat on the couch. I'm all like it was something, but I made it.
Yeah, and you went to the movies that night too, like you did.
Yeah, I took my kids out to dinner, and then we went out to the movies, which was great. But yeah, so my post trip, thing that I do is I usually take like a couple days off and just chill. But no, because this weekend I'm heading out to Havasu for Havasu Meltdown. Yeah, and so I'm right back in it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So you're leaving Friday?
Yeah, leaving Friday about midday. I have Henry from our club coming up from San Diego. He's gonna roll up with me. Glenn and Kim, also from our club, also from San Diego. They're going to come up Saturday and hang out. And so it's going to be cool. But it's one of those things where I'm going to be like solo. Like these trips I do solo. Angie's not there sometimes. But this one I'm solo. You're not even going to be there. So
I'll tell you what.
It's going to be interesting.
You're going to. So Glenn and Kim from our club. Kim works my booth quite a bit. And she essentially just takes over.
Yeah, Kim is awesome.
I don't need to be there. Like she's like, yeah, it's whatever. So you might actually have some more free time than you think this weekend.
That's true.
You're gonna be. She's gonna be like, no, it's fine. I got it. And you're gonna be like, oh,
like okay,
yeah, this is fun. This is great, actually.
Yeah, I know. We're just gonna have Kim come with us everywhere.
Yeah, it definitely because she's so knows what she's doing, and just like she's basically seasoned in this, And she's great at talking to people, and like so you can kind of entrust her with. That's one of the hardest things about having someone help you with the booth is how are they going to talk to the customers, right? Or are they just going to sit in the chair and not like when someone comes up, we get up and we like, hey, how you doing, whether they buy something or not. But like someone just sits in the chair and like doesn't see people like are interested in something and like be proactive about that. That's where it's kind of gets tough.
Yeah, no, but Kim's great.
Yeah.
So remember 2 episodes ago we were talking about getting ready for leaving for Mini Nats, talking about Havasu Meltdown coming up this weekend and how I was gonna feel like in this moment right now.
Oh yeah. Like you were gonna give yourself excuses, like
like how I was curious on how I would be. Would I be sitting here trying to talk myself out of it? Would I be raring to go? I'm raring to go. I feel good. Yeah, I feel really good. I think also it helps that like. And this is crazy by itself. It helps that there were a lot of people in Mini Nats saying like, "Oh, I'll see you next weekend. I'll see you in Havasu." Leah, the Body Drop clothing guys, like I'm gonna see all those guys this weekend. Yeah. So like it would be like I can't make an excuse. Like other people are doing it. Like I can't make an excuse.
Yeah, so. Yeah. That's very true. And then I won't be there.
You'll be at Diesel Truck Show.
I'll be in California at a Diesel Truck Show, and then the weekend after that is Cruise to the Pines, and you won't be at that. And then we will be. It's 2 weeks after that. We'll be at Rolling in the Red Rocks. Yeah,
that's coming up again, and like after I sold out a bunch of stuff last weekend, I'm gonna try to recoup a little bit tomorrow, get going, and then but after Havasu Meltdown, I'll be getting ready for Rolling the Red Rocks, and we'll be right back at it.
I don't have any weekends off, so I'm going in Mini Nats, Diesel Truck Show in California, and then Cruise to the Pines here in Arizona, and then Dallas, Texas for C10 Nationals, and then Rolling in the Red Rocks. Yeah. And then is there anything right after Rolling in the Red Rocks, or is that kind of it for the month?
That's it for the month, and that's it. I don't know what you got going on, but for me, June, July. Nothing. Well, I don't know. I'm sure I'm missing something, and someone will correct me. Don't forget about this in July.
No, Rolling in the Red Rocks is the last show of this crazy couple of months.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, there are. Yeah. Now I think about there are other shows. We got the show in Paris.
Unfinished Business
that you might be going to, or you're going to. Yep. So.
Yeah.
And then just keep on rolling on.
There's another. I'm going to another C10 show in June in Nashville.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Maybe that's the Salt Lake one. There's one in Salt Lake and one in Nashville. I'm going to both of them, but I don't know which one's in June. Yeah. But yeah,
dude, that's going to be cool.
After Rolling in the Red Rocks, I'm going to be like,
yeah.
It's going to be a little bit nice of breath of relief or whatever I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And here we are, episode 52. I thought we were going to get poppers and stuff, but we didn't. But here we are, episode 52. 1 year.
I'm like, I'll put it in the edit.
There you go. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait.
Is there
episode? Where's this changed? Nope. I don't have the clapping anymore.
There is no clapping.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know. I can't hear anything because I'm not plugged into the microphone.
Yeah, me neither. Oh, I was going to do the little thing on the road program where it claps, but there's no more claps. But
Can you hear this if I do it?
No.
No.
Well,
Well,
anyway.
well, congratulations to us.
Congratulations to us for 1 year. 1 year ago today, we were coming back from Mini Nats, and we're like, you know what? We're going to do a podcast.
And
Let's
we
just
did.
do it. And we did, and here we are.
Yeah.
And again, thanks for everybody who listens and came up to the booth and told us they listen. That's so awesome.
Yeah. And thanks
So cool.
Switch Suspension.
Big thanks to Switch.
Yeah. Seth actually texted me last night. He's like, "You guys get home all right?" And I was like, "Yep." And he's like, "Cool." He's like, "We had fun." He said he was telling his video guy how it's cool that like there was like 3 video guys there and like we all just get along and all that stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
I told him like their video guy is really good.
Oh, yeah. And he's a cool ass dude. So,
Yeah.
Did you see Tanner's Instagram story? I thought it was hilarious where he was with Seth and they were listening to the last episode. And
Oh yeah, I showed it to you in the car.
Yeah. And then Tanner was saying, "Oh, here's Seth, longtime sponsor, first time listener." that was so funny.
Yes, there are some people out there that do not listen to our podcast or do not have time. It's like Travis at AZ Pro. He doesn't watch YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like he's the sponsor of the Grinder, the main sponsor of the Grinder TV videos, and I'll be like, "Oh, did you watch it?" He's like, "I don't watch YouTube videos."
Hey, that's okay.
I'm like, "So I can just send you an invoice and you'll just believe me?" He's like, "Yep." All right.
Yeah. So no, it was just cool. It was funny. But yeah, great weekend. Can't wait for next
Successful
year.
weekend.
Successful. Yes,
even though.
successful.
Oh, and Easy Up is warranting all these pieces on my Easy Up.
That's awesome.
I
That's really cool.
Because I went on their website and I was like, they're only in white. Like some of the bars were only available in white. And you know that one bar that's bent on yours, the
up and down one?
Yeah, that's not even in stock.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not on their website. You have to call them. It only shows one piece. So you might want to ask them if there's 2 different sizes on that if you have to end up replacing yours. But yeah, so the guy I was like this. He goes, "Well, what happened to it?" And I was like, "Oh, it was weather related." And he goes, "Well, let me look at your account." He's like, "You bought it from us. What's your order number?" He's like, "Well, you haven't had a warranty thing claim." And he's like, "So I'll just warranty all this stuff."
Dude, that's awesome.
I know.
See, things work out. That's what all of this is a learning experience. All of this, we talk about this so much that all of what we're doing here is we're not only creating content and talking about stuff, but we're also trying to be better people and like learn from experiences. And I think definitely that was an experience to learn from.
Well, the biggest thing to me that I learned, and it took me a long time, was stress kills.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and the biggest problem that we could ever face on one of these trips is a catastrophic event where the truck blows up. That's the biggest thing. That's going to stop us from getting there or getting home. If we forget something, we buy it. If something breaks, we buy it. The catastrophic event will be if the truck blows up. That's when you're going to be like, okay, this sucks because, you know, but that's probably not going to happen. But, like the little things that happen, and even this was just a little thing.
Yeah, on the grand scheme of things, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because even I remember my buddy one time, he traveled a lot for work, and he learned real quick. He goes, I used to like, oh, am I forgetting to get this? Am I gonna forget this? What did I forget? And he goes, it didn't matter to him anymore. He goes, because if I forgot something, I would just buy it. Mm-hmm. Socks, underwear, a jacket, like whatever.
Yeah.
So,
no, definitely an experience. So I got to go get my second kid that I actually have to go far to get.
Oh.
So.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this podcast today, this afternoon or this evening, we are doing the Switch manifold and controller giveaway.
We are not doing it this evening. We are doing it this evening.
We are. It's Monday.
It's Monday. It's not. I was like, wait, it's only the 26th. I was like, did I forget something here? Yes, we are doing it this Monday, and then we will be announcing what we're giving away next.
Yep. So tune into IG tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna go share some more IG posts about that. I totally forgot.
Yeah, it's okay.
I know.
We've been busy. We got a lot of stuff going on.
We got a lot of stuff going on. We're doing this though.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Cool. We'll see you next time.
Later.